UFC Vegas 42. There are 11 fights left, so things are getting really thin, but we're going to do what we can to build the best possible lineups today. This is the final look. You can call me Kunith. Let's make some money this week. If you haven't had a chance yet, go back and watch the first look lineup. That's where we go over the card fighter by fighter, salary by salary. We talk about spots that we like and spots that we don't like. For this final look, we're going to be focusing on strategy, how we should construct our lineups, what we need to do to be successful. And there are a few things that really stood out to me when I was making my lineups this week. Before we go any further, if you've been enjoying the content so far, please like, subscribe. It really helps me bring more of this to you. We knew the card was going to be pretty thin. We had a few fights pull out, and most recently, it was the Kyle Daukaus-Roman Dolidze fight. So now it makes it tough on us when we're building our lineup. It gives us one fewer fight to work with, but also that was a fight that we knew was going to be heavily targeted. So now it's going to be difficult for you to get different, but I think there are a few ways to do that. When making your lineups this week, you're probably going to stack Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez in almost all of them. If you're playing cash games, it's almost a required strategy. I'm going to be doing that in every single one of the cash games that I enter. But when you're looking at these GPPs, I'm a firm believer in calling 6 winners. I know it doesn't always shake out that way. Sometimes on these greasy kinds of cards, you'll have somebody with 4 winners taking down these contests, but I like to do my best to try to find 6 winners each and every week when I play my GPPs. And the cool thing about this card is, like we talked about in the first look, Kennedy Nzechukwu, he's going to end up being the favorite by the time they step into the octagon. Money continues to come in on him. A lot of people are very low on Dalin Jung this week, and I'm one of those people. I don't think that he's going to win. I really like Nzechukwu in this spot. He's coming in at 7,900. So what stands out to me is that you can get a favorite for dog money on this slate. So we think about it. Because of his pricing, if we call him a favorite, you can construct a lineup with 5 favorites and 1 underdog. The underdogs have been burning us the last few weeks, so you would think that things are going to come back, but the underdogs in this card are not all that attractive. Kennedy Nzechukwu, Chaos Williams, and Yoel Alvarez are going to be the highest owned fighters below 8,000 this week. And obviously, a lot of us want to play Chaos Williams because of the finishing upside, but I think that he's going to come in at ridiculously high ownership. I've actually plugged in a lot more Miguel Baeza in my lineups leading up to this video than I have Chaos Williams for that reason. Thiago Moises has had a ton of money come in on him since opening. For that reason, I'm really not confident in Yoel Alvarez. I don't think that Yoel Alvarez is going to be able to submit Moises. That's what he's best at. I don't think that he's going to be able to beat him at his own game. A few underdogs that I'm going to be taking shots on. Rafael Alves, I just think he's live for a submission finish. You see a ton of submissions on his record. Mark DeCasey might have his neck in harm's way if he's shooting for too many takedowns. 7,500, I don't think he's going to come in at really high ownership either. So I think it's a good way for you to get different and attack some potential upside. I'm taking a complete dart throw on Colin Anglin this week. And it's not so much that I want to play Colin Anglin, it's that I don't want to play Sean Woodson. Now, if Sean Woodson goes out there, knocks him out in the second round or something like that, I'm not going to be surprised. But if Colin Anglin is able to extend Woodson, mix in the wrestling, then he might be able to grind his own decision victory out here. And if you can do that with a $7,000 salary, then you're in a great spot. One thing that I've been doing is just taking my cash game lineup where I have Max Holloway and Yair stacked, and then I just swap out Yair for Colin Anglin at the end. And if I'm over the salary by a few $100s, I'll see where I can get to spots that I like just by making a few adjustments. It's one of these adjustments that I see myself making over and over and over again while I'm trying to construct my lineup is targeting the Cynthia Calvillo-Andrea Lee fight. This fight at that middle price of the 8,000 to 8,200 is going to be slept on just because it's women's MMA. People think that there's going to be better upside elsewhere, but I think that Cynthia Calvillo is a really good play in this spot, and I think that if Andrea Lee wins, she's going to score a ton of points as well because she's normally very high output and she's shooting for takedowns. I think that targeting this fight right in the middle of the pricing and also targeting Felicia Spencer at 9,100 is going to be the best way for you to get different in your contests. Again, things are really tight with 11 fights, but we can do what we can with the pieces that we have. We just need to look where others aren't, and I think that this is a really good spot to target. I don't think a ton of people are going to be on this fight. For fighters that I have a lot of exposure of, Max Holloway I have in 100% of my lineups. I have a lot of Felicia Spencer, a lot of Ben Rothwell, a lot of Song Yadong. I don't have a ton of Thiago Moises, and I don't think a lot of the field is going to have much Thiago Moises, so that might be a good way for you to get different. But I think the approach this week is playing a lot of Kennedy Nzechukwu. He's going to be at high ownership, but for good reason. The pricing seems like it should be swapped, in my opinion. Targeting that Andrea Lee, Cynthia Calvillo fight is not a bad idea. And I'm staying away from some of these dogs that I think people are a little too high on, like Julio Arce or Yoel Alvarez. Just as a little bonus, if you were to parlay Felicia Spencer, Ben Rothwell, and Song Yadong together, that pays out just shy of 3-1, so that's not a bad play in my opinion if you want to just take straight bets on this instead of taking this greasy DraftKings card. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, that way I can bring more of this to you.